I'm still hung up on this Freakonomics thing. I don't know. I posted something about it on Twitter, and some people were responding or liking it or whatever. But I don't know what it just bugs me. It's beyond the fact that I was lucky enough to get that Ari Emanuel audio, so I'm already interested in the situation, right? No, from the moment several days ago that I heard that, because I had not been paying attention. I knew that the Ari Emanuel interview podcast was going to come out on Freakonomics. I had even gone to their site a couple of weeks ago to look for it and said, no, this is an upcoming episode. And so I knew that it was going to be coming out. And so I inquired about it. It just kind of popped into my head a few days ago because I realized, oh wait, that was like 2 weeks ago when those remarks by Ari Emanuel were reported by witnesses who were there. And then of course got printed up in the Hollywood Reporter, etc. And I thought, wait, that was like almost 2 weeks ago or something. And we haven't heard anything since then. And so I asked about it online, mentioned it, and someone told me, oh yeah, Freakonomics, like 6 days ago, they put out a short video explaining what happened to the episode, and it's lost and it's never coming out. It was never recorded. And I was just like, what the fuck? Because not that these things can't happen or don't happen. I have, in 4 years of doing YouTube, I've had one instance of all the collaborations and stuff that I've done. I've had one instance where I flat out forgot to record it. So to say that it can't happen, of course it can happen. But like even the host of Freakonomics, when he did this video explaining the mishap, which went on and on and on, he even said, I've never in all of my years he was talking about a guitarist or a guitar tech or this or that, or these other media jobs that he's had, and as a performer and a musician and all of this, he says, I've never once had a situation like this where someone on a professional level just didn't record something. And what's crazy too, y'all, is that this was not just Ari Emanuel that they didn't record. This was an entire evening's worth of entertainment. This was a special Freakonomics episode. It was a live taping. It was an entire evening's worth of entertainment featuring also some famous musician or semi-famous musician or whatever, I'm blanking, who was interviewed and did a performance as a part of this. So there were like other people being interviewed aside from Ari Emanuel, and there was like a whole performance going on that was supposed to be videotaped. And this was a big venue. I forget the name of it, but it was a big venue on Wilshire that's used to doing all kinds of big entertainment stuff, this sort of shit. And so it just seems like really? You didn't record it and you didn't like check that? Because now, the way that I am now, I very quickly learned with this like comparatively nothing YouTube operation that I've got going on, that you check and double check if it's recording or not. Like you learn very quickly not to be making those rookie mistakes because they're so painful and they suck so much when you do. And they're so embarrassing to have to explain to someone, oh, I didn't get our interview. And so it's just, and I had somebody on Twitter, this was what I was actually also wanted to show you here. I'm going to go to my Twitter. Go to my Twitter because I want to show you this comment. This was a comment, not, oh, hello, Ari Jacob, looking good. This is a comment. She is very beautiful. No one can deny that. Okay. This is a comment that someone left under not my video, not any of my videos, but someone left this comment underneath the Freakonomics video, the video that they put out like 7 days ago now, where the host laughingly and seemingly very genuinely, and he seemed perplexed himself, explained this whole scenario whereby this thing was not recorded. But this was a comment underneath, and it just kind of got me stoked again today because I wasn't even going to talk about this because I felt like I probably paid too much attention to it. And what do I really know? And I can't prove that something shady happened. Then I saw this comment, and it got me stoked again. Quote, life is funny. Okay, that's quoting the host of this Freakonomics podcast who was explaining what happened and said something to that effect, like, life is funny. All right, give me a break. As a former theater stage manager and techie, I can tell you that there is absolutely no way that the person involved with recording the sound for the Ari Emanuel interview would not have been checking and rechecking that the recording of this live event was happening. I've always known that Freakonomics is a bogus brand. Okay, well, I don't know about all that, but next sentence. This is not a brand. Next sentence. Do not trust them. No. Okay. They got cooked by Ari Emanuel, Hollywood, and shamelessly threw their techies under the bus. Are you telling me that there was not a backup recording being made for just such an occurrence as this is described in this video? The brand relies on access journalism. If any of you are thinking that this does not add up, listen to your gut. It doesn't add up. What a load of bollocks. And so I read that. And I was like, oh, because it got me going again, dude. It got me going again. And it's not like this is like super, super important in and of itself, right? I mean, look, there are people dying all over the world in horrible ways and terrible things happening to people and cancer and everything. So I'm not trying to say that this is like a 5-alarm fire that Ari Emanuel might have paid or threatened or influenced someone to do away with this recording. But I am just saying, like, it just bugs me. It bugs me. And I think here's the reason why, and I said this the other day, this is part of the reason why it bugs me too, is that I remember as soon as, and I've said this, I remember as soon as I read Ari Emanuel's remarks as reported in the Hollywood Reporter, as soon as I read them, I thought, oh my God, I cannot believe that he said this shit. There is no way this recording is ever going to get out. Something's going to happen. They're going to lose this. They're going to say they've lost it. They're going to make up some, I don't even know. This thing ain't coming out. And I thought that, like, I said that to myself immediately. And I was even kind of like with myself sort of taking a bet in my mind as to like, what do I think are the odds that we actually end up seeing this thing or hearing this thing? So I think that was because, I think the fact that I already had been expecting it, that when it actually happened, it was just like, oh my God, it's so predictable. It's so predictable. I don't know. And I know, look, and I'll say this too. I know there were, not crying over the lost footage. I have allergies. I'm not saying that, like, I know that there were multiple technical mishaps that day because they had an issue initially at that venue, even getting the PA system to work. And so they didn't even know that they were going to be able to have the things mic'd up correctly. The thing, and the host talked about that in the video. The thing is, though, it seems like that was a completely separate issue. Like, according to the host narrative on this, yes, they had the PA issue initially at the venue, but then that was solved, which is why they were then able to continue with the show and everything. You know, you could hear in the audio that I put out that he was mic'd. And so I'm like, it's weird to me to even kind of I understand they're conflating the two things because what they're trying to say is, look, there was a lot of stress around the technical stuff and we were already having technical issues that day. But also to me, it's kind of conflating. It's sort of obfuscating in a way the fact that, okay, but still somebody just couldn't record this thing. I don't know. I'm sure there's technical stuff that could have gone wrong that I'm not understanding. I'm sure it's not just a matter, if it was a legitimate error, it's not just a matter of someone literally just didn't push record or click record, that there was some other kind of breakdown or something. So I don't know. But here's what I would say to Freakonomics. I think that given how much backlash you're getting about this, and I see it, if we go look at your video, you'll see that there are lots of comments of people who are irate and people aren't buying it. I think given how this story has exploded and the negative perception now that you've created about yourself and your show and maybe even your host, if this really was a mishap, I think it would be interesting, since you already put out like a 10-minute video where you tell this, cute little anecdote about these mishaps. I think it'd be interesting to issue a follow-up, say 5 to 10-minute video where you actually specifically explain what technical mishaps led to this not being recorded. Because I think that would be kind of interesting to know. Oh, last week I mentioned that my editor came to me and said they didn't record it. And I was like, wow, that's never happened to me before. We need a little more explanation than that, I think, sir, given what is actually on the line here in terms of, well, potentially hundreds of millions of dollars in this legal fight. So that's what I would say to Freakonomics. If it really was an honest error, surely your people did a little bit more sleuthing around and you came up with an explanation, if nothing else for the future, so this doesn't happen again, an explanation for what exactly was the breakdown there. I think that would be really helpful. And once you provide that, I'm happy to talk about it. So anyway, that is my thought. What are people saying about the sound?